when you live a certain part of your adult life and you play different roles as you yourself have done, as I myself did, you get a bit on in life, you might think it might be time to identify something that you will stay with, something that will be identifiable and something that you could explore to a great extent and try to know thoroughly. The way William Faulkner knew Yoknapatawpha County in Mississippi, the way James Joyce knew Dublin like the back of his hand. Well, there's this Peace River country of which, at that time, not a lot of great literature, either fiction or serious history, had been written about. A lot of local histories here and there, but where's this great encompassing history? It has its geographic boundaries, and it has also a time frame from when settlement began in 1909. And so once I was fascinated by the realization that the land had been settled before a railway had arrived, that's when I took it upon myself. I was going to write the great history of the Peace River country. So the book that turned out to be The Lure of the Peace River country, which is nothing about the area's settlement, but just about the promotional campaign, the advertising, and the experience of going there. That was going to be the first two chapters of the book, but it got to be so big. My publisher, Detzelik in Calgary, said, well, that's really, if you get it well illustrated, that's a book into itself. Okay, we'll have that one, and then I'll do the Peace River country history. Well, you get into the documents, you get putting in there everything you want to put in there, and I'm going to tell the story about the great settlement of the Peace River country. But by the time I got to 1909, which was even before the settlement period began, well, with the missionaries, the fur trade, and the native population, and the treaty signings, and all other aspects of history, well, there's a book into itself. And if you want it well illustrated, well, let's make this one book number 2. And so book number 3 would be the settlement of the Peace River country. But by the time I got through so many of the land records, 6,789, and I had to go to the land records, because if you're going to look at settlement patterns, you just can't do it through local histories and archival records and published accounts. The real story is in those records that tell you about settlement patterns, particularly when you can create a database about it all. But that was big enough so that I could tell a story into itself, but only up to 1914, the beginning of World War I. So that became a volume into itself. So hopefully before I die, I might reach 1951. The next volume will be up to 1930, and hopefully there'll be a volume after that.